Yeah, have you got a carburetor engine? Yeah. Mhm. 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 Yeah, you definitely want to run it through a bubble. You, you know about that, yeah. Right, yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You said you increased your mileage by putting peroxide in the bubbler. What kind of solution?
I put four cap pulls in it. Yeah. Yeah, that was that was the other thing is, the bubbler,
I'll be here till 5.
one
And we
moment.
can go later, or we can go
The
tomorrow.
bubbler turns out to be an extremely effective delivery system. You know, in addition to providing flashback protection, you can very easily control the amount of HHO that is going into the engine, and you definitely need to be able to have some kind of a fix on how much or how little is being used, because that turns out to be critical. I'm sorry, just say. Yes, sir, the gentleman in the back.
I apologize, I just come in, but I have not been able to find any independent lab test results for any of the appliances that are being talked about. Do you know where I can get independent lab test results on performance and validation?
No, I do not.
Okay.
And it isn't, it's not something that interests me very much, because you know, the pragmatism on it is, if your car goes further, you've got a winner.
Okay, from a pragmatic standpoint then, have any of the engines that you've run this on, how many miles has the longest engine been run, and has it been torn down and evaluated for wear due to excessive heat and the injection of other substances?
The excessive heat and engine wear and the brittleization of metals have been generally associated with the use of pure hydrogen without oxygen. That the temperature usually drops. In fact, it always drops.
What about the heat caused by
gas.
leaning down your fuel mixture?
I'm sorry?
The heat that's generated by running too lean a fuel mixture, if you do, has anybody taken an engine apart? That was my original question. Has anybody torn down an engine and checked it?
Not that I know of.
Okay, thank you.
So you'll listen. You're I can understand. Yeah.
You had this line going in that was, you're forcing air into the jar. And, other systems don't have that. That was forcing air out.
Yeah, we're bubbling the water into a container and charging it, and then we were putting the charged water in this World War II delivery system.
That's not necessarily essential to the system.
They show never checked.
No, something that I should mention is there's been an ongoing debate about whether to deliver
He's talking about
the
manufacturing.
HHO by vacuum pressure or into the air intake. And the answer to that is whichever one works best on your car. But in general, the HHO seems to greatly admire a vacuum. Yeah. Yeah, so there is some a priori reason to think that the vacuum is a little better. Yeah, well, that's an interesting question, because Bob Boyce brought this up a long time ago, that there actually isn't any mechanical means that's adequate flashback arrestor, right? because it just isn't gonna be quick enough. Because the flashback rate is Mach 3.5 or something like this. That was Rhodes did studies on that in the 60s, Pat. What we discovered is that when you bubble the gas through water, under its own pressure or under vacuum pressure, either way, right? What actually happens is it changes the composition of the gas. And the gas is the HHO, these are negatively charged particles, right? And they're going into a positively charged solution, water. And so they're arranged, sequestered, kind of like walled off in the water by virtue of formulas described by Buckminster Fuller as the closest packing of spheres, right? But you've got water molecules surrounding the HHO particles, so they are far less explosive. That's why it wasn't really known why just bubbling this stuff into water worked, but believe me, it does work, and nothing else will work. Now, if you wanted to go further, you could mix air with this gas, which is what's being done in this system, in which case it will be like completely non-combustible. Now, where that would come up would be, say you wanted to use HHO on a furnace and you didn't want it to blow up until it got into the furnace, right? That could be a useful piece of information right there. And so, as I was saying before, you know, killing two birds with one stone, as a matter of fact, everybody's got an electrolyzer right now that could also be used on their furnace. All they'd have to do is mix a little air in with the gas, and we're prepared to. So there turns out to be yet another means of flashback protection, which was designed by Nikola Tesla, which we had duplicated, and that's shown right here. The gas has a straight path through on one side, but when it tries to flash back on the other side, coming from the other side, it gets caught up in all these little flukes and won't get out. So how much, you know, of course this has no restrictions whatsoever, you know, I mean, this is just a straight through, it has no moving parts. So this could prove very useful in the future for HHO.
Yeah. You just go ahead, I'll find it.